Okay, in this conversation, I want to talk about the most in-demand skills for the future of work and how individuals and companies can acquire them. And I am very pleased. I'm joined once again by Jeff Maggioncalda, the CEO of Coursera, one of the largest online learning platforms in the world. Good to see you again, Jeff.
Yeah, it's great to be here.
So, as a global CEO, what are you seeing at the moment in terms of the job market?
Well, clearly a big competition for talent. I mean, as an employer ourselves, we decided at Coursera, we have about 1,200 people or so right now. We decided at the beginning of the pandemic, pretty early on, within the first few months, that we were going to use the fact that everybody's working from home as a chance to pivot to a work from anywhere policy.
Mm.
I mean, we were increasingly seeing in the Bay Area where our headquarters are in Mountain View, incredible competition for talent, salaries and compensation going way up. And with remote work, I mean, there's a lot of talented people all over the world. So what we started doing pretty early on was realizing that we could hire people from anywhere. And we started hiring people from pretty much anywhere, whether or not you live next to an office. Now, we do have offices, and some people come to the offices, but we don't require that people do.
Mm.
And what we're seeing globally, certainly in the US, but we're also seeing it in the UK, is a war for talent, especially in data science and technology positions. But there's other positions too that we can get to. And so a lot of what's happened is the Great Resignation, which has caused a lot of people to realize I can get a better paying, more flexible job that has better career opportunities. And I have the ability to get those skills more accessibly without having to actually, quit my job and go back to college. And so a lot of people are quitting and they're switching careers to these new careers that pay a bit better and offer more flexibility.
Very good. So, do you feel that the Great Resignation is slowing down at the moment?
Well, we're not seeing that here in the US, at least. And arguably, it's going to be something that ripples across economies. I mean, we'll see. But I think at the US, we are still at the highest ever rate of job quits, even as we have an unemployment rate that is dropping further and further. So in particular, what we're hearing from a lot of our retail customers is that having frontline workers, attracting and retaining frontline workers is getting increasingly difficult. I think part of it is those are the jobs that pay the least. Those are the jobs that have the least amount of flexibility from working at home. And those are the jobs without as much career opportunity. And so a lot of employers are coming to us saying, I need to offer career development programs in order to attract new talent into entry-level digital jobs, but also into frontline jobs with a promise that we can help transition them into a more digital career.
Interesting. So, you feel that upskilling is becoming a pull factor for candidates in the
Yeah,
future?
it's interesting. I think the ability to upskill, if we can get more people access to good training, and that's both the job role training as well as tool-based training. Kind of what do you need to do a given high demand entry level job? And then how do you learn how to use the software tools that people in that job role have? So a lot of companies are really looking at this saying, I need to build my own talent pipelines
Mm.
so that I can recruit from a wider audience of talent, both local talent who maybe don't have college degrees, don't have prior work experience, are switching careers. I need a way of attracting and training them to start in an entry level digital job. But then on the front lines, they're also saying, I need to have some kind of a promise or a value proposition of career development for people, even if they're not coming into a an entry level digital job, even if they're coming into a frontline job. I still need to be able to talk to them about how I can create career development opportunities at my company.
Yeah, I completely agree. This is something I am seeing, and I'm predicting that the rate of change, especially when it comes to technical skills, is only going to increase. So any company that doesn't offer development opportunities and upskilling opportunities will simply see itself fall behind, I think.
I think that's right. We're also seeing a big difference between the big brand tech companies. A lot of people want to go to the big brand tech companies. They
Mm.
pay really well because they have such amazing margins and profitability. I mean, these companies are just they have very attractive economics as a business model. So they can afford to pay people
Mm.
a lot of money. So they are able to get very high quality talent. And that makes everybody want to go to those companies. Well, if you're not one of those tech companies, if you're a grocery store, if you're a bank, if you're an insurance company, if you're a manufacturing firm, it's a lot harder to compete for digital talent, for computer software programmers and data scientists than it is for the tech companies. And every company now needs computer scientists and data scientists pretty much. And so companies are starting to realize we're going to have to recruit from different populations who maybe don't have college degrees and don't come from traditional backgrounds. And we're going to have to do more training to build our own talent pipelines so that we can staff and retain the kind of talent that's getting increasingly difficult in such a competitive labor market.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was interviewing the president of Infosys recently, and they were saying that they are now opening up the company to anyone. So even if you don't have the data science skills that that they want you to have, you're still able to join the company as long as you show potential, and then they will allow you to develop and build some of those skills.
Yeah, we saw there was a survey that was done by Mercer, and they were asking employers what is making it difficult to recruit workers. So the number one answer from employers, this is in their employee inside employees mind report is what they call it. Number one answer is inability to find the right people, the right skills at the right price. That was 57% of the people. The second said high government stimulus and unemployment benefits. So people are basically staying out of the workforce because they're getting paid. But the third answer I thought was really interesting. The answer said 50% of the people said, of the employers said, it's hard to find and recruit new workers because of new competitors for talent who are giving flexible work practices. And these competitors for talent are
Mm.
outside of my normal geographic scope. So a lot of companies are now seeing companies like Coursera sitting over here in California, recruiting people in Kansas, in the suburbs of England, all over the world. We are coming and we are recruiting people, the best talent, away from these other companies. And so Deloitte just did a survey in fall. They said 80% of CEOs said that they are offering increased work from home flexibility in an attempt to attract and retain talent. So it is an absolute battle out there for this kind of talent.
So do you think companies are doing enough to upskill workers for this major digital shift that is happening at the moment?
Well, I'd say they're doing more and more. I mean, if you look at the ed tech players like Coursera and others who are serving the corporate workplace, budgets are getting bigger. L&D teams are spending more on building training programs. Increasingly, what's happening, there's the overall market for corporate training is something like 370 billion dollars last time I checked. Most of that 3-4 years ago was in money spent on internally developed programs. So companies would try to build their own training programs. And a lot of what that looked like was kind of leadership programs, which is fine. But now the real talent that people are really competing for is tech and data. And learning and development teams cannot build all their own tech and data training material. Just it doesn't make sense. It's too difficult. Like you said, it's changing too quickly. What they're doing is they're licensing very high quality, very current training materials from companies like Coursera and using us to build training programs specifically for certain job roles.
Very good. You recently launched Career Academy, which I understand is a new career training academy designed to help government and businesses upskill and reskill workers and employees for the new economy. And can you tell us more about the Career Academy and why Coursera is prioritizing it?
Yeah, we're this is something actually that we have been working on for 4 years. It started back in 20, actually it started in 2015 before Coursera was on the scene. Google wanted to build a more diverse workforce. And they said, well, why aren't we able to attract more diverse talent? And one of the reasons was a lot of the job openings had a college degree requirement and a prior work requirement. And that ruled out a lot of talent.
Mm.
So they said, well, what kinds of positions are in very high demand that don't require a college degree or prior work experience? And they had determined that IT support was a job that they had a lot of open IT support jobs at Google. You don't need a college degree to do IT support. You don't need prior work experience. You just need a good training program to teach you the basics of how to do IT support. So they built an IT support training program for Google, and it was incredibly successful. They recruited from non-traditional backgrounds, they trained people up, and the folks performed really well. So Google called us, this was now back in 2017, and said, we want to take this program that we built and move it onto Coursera, because we think probably a lot of companies around the world need to hire IT support. They might need to build a more diverse talent pipeline. And if we put this online on Coursera, this training program that has worked well for Google and built by Google could be used by other companies. And so we launched this thing, this Google IT support certificate in January of 2018. So far, it's had 900,000 enrollments and tens of thousands of people who have completed it and gotten jobs. And what we've been doing now since 2018 is we've been going out and we have been working with other companies to find other job roles, not just IT support, but we said, well, what are other job roles that really are in high demand? Our digital entry level job roles, they're in high demand, they pay well, they don't require a college degree, and they don't require any previous work experience. And it turns out there's a bunch of these roles. So there's IT support, and then Google launched another, now 4 certificates. They have 5 altogether. They launched project management. So there's a lot of project management jobs. They launched data analytics, and they launched digital marketing. They also launched UX design. So those are 5 job roles in very high demand. You don't need a college degree. You don't need prior experience. You can learn how to do those entry-level jobs fully online. Well, then we started working with IBM, and they now have 7 certificates: cybersecurity analyst, data engineering, mainframe programmer. We have 2 certificates with Salesforce on sales operations and sales development representative. Intuit has created a training program for bookkeeping. And Meta is we just announced with Meta 5 training programs. They're each about 50 to 75 hours. One is for it to be a front-end software developer, a back-end software developer, a database developer, an iOS mobile developer, and an Android mobile developer. So these are all training programs that are turnkey and ready to go. So we built these certificates, and what Career Academy is it's a way that we're bringing these certificates together. We now have 20 of them that are live. We'll have about 30 to 35 by the end of this year. And now what we're doing is we're allowing any institution, any business in the world, any academic institution, of which there are about 25,000 academic institutions, higher education institutions in the world, and any government agency, they can actually brand a Career Academy where these training programs are available to their students, if you're a university, to their employees, if they're trying to recruit or upskill people, or to their citizens, if it's a government workforce development program.
So how does that work in practice then? So you said you developed some of these courses specifically for some of your corporate clients.
Yeah,
Are you bringing together existing content, or are you creating completely new content for them?
it's existing content. So the basic idea is so one of our customers for Career Academy is a university in Hawaii called Hawaii Pacific University. Mostly they teach business classes. So they brought in Career Academy, and now every student at the university, in addition to getting their college degree, they can also get access to their Career Academy. And that means while they're pursuing their college degree, they can also get a certificate from Google in UX design, or they can get a certificate from Meta as a front-end developer. So they can complement their studies with these programs. The basic idea is that many universities around the world are realizing that they're not able to teach their students all the skills that employers are looking for. And so what they can do is they can complement their academic curriculum with this industry curriculum from the best businesses in the world, so that when their graduates graduate, they can say, look, I got a college degree in psychology and I have a professional certificate from IBM in data science. So it's almost like a minor or a concentration. And so we don't really have to build new content. We're simply bringing this industry content to businesses and to universities and to governments around the world.
So what's the enterprise use case for the Career Academy?
I'd say so if you look at businesses, what we're seeing typically is it's kind of two things. One is they're saying we need to attract people to take jobs in this really competitive work environment. And so if we say, especially frontline jobs in retail, drivers, supply chain, they say if you come to work for us in our say our retail branches, we say after a certain period of time, we will put you into the Career Academy. We will essentially help you develop a career in a desktop job. And so using Career Academy to attract frontline workers, for any company out there who's having trouble finding bank tellers, finding people working at the checkout, finding people to work in offices, um, the Career Academy is one way to attract and retain folks. Now, another one is for onboarding diverse talent. So some people are saying we need to have a more diverse talent pipeline. We can't all be competing for the same colleges, for the same students graduate from the same colleges, which means people come to a company with different levels of skills. The Career Academy can help a company level the playing field so that when employees or candidates get to the company, they've already been through a training program. So we see Goldman Sachs, for instance, using Career Academy to train job candidates before they actually even get the job offer from Golden, give everybody a better chance to get qualified for these entry-level jobs so they don't keep going and fishing in the same ponds of talent, which are generally less diverse, and there's a lot more competition there.
So anyone who is listening who thinks maybe this is for me, I would like to use some of those training academies to build my own skills and get a job with some of these companies, what do I need to do?
Well, if your company if you want your company to buy it, you can say, "Hey, why aren't we using Coursera? They have this new Career Academy, and it seems really great." If you just want to go to Coursera.org, on the homepage, you can type in Coursera Career Academy, and there's a version of this that's available to anybody in the world where all these certificates are available. And we've already had about 3 million course enrollments across all of these 20 live professional certificates that we're talking about. So you can explore different jobs, and then there are both professional certificates, which are the job training program from the industry partner, and then we also have a set of projects that you build. So we basically, a lot of these jobs require that you learn how to use certain software tools. And so matched up with these professional certificates are projects where you use software, you build projects, and then you can show those projects to an employer to say, yeah, I know a lot about UX design. I've finished this certificate from Google, and I've used Figma to build mockups. And you can, or Figma or Adobe Photoshop or whatever tools, you can actually learn the tools and build things that can demonstrate that you have the skills to use those tools.
So if you look across your different Career Academy offerings and what you have built into them, what would you say are the most important, both technical and non-technical skills that employers are really looking for at the moment?
Well, a lot of it depends on the job role. So if you're going to be, in fact, I can read some of the course titles here. So let me do. I'll give you a sense for. Let's see here. I'll give you a sense for what some of the different courses are. So if I go to the digital marketing certificate from Google, so if you want to be a digital marketer, the top skills in this are marketing, e-commerce, display advertising, email marketing, search engine optimization, customer awareness, customer outreach. And the courses are foundations of digital marketing, attract and engage customers, from likes to leads, interacting with customers online, and then thinking outside of the inbox, email marketing. So that's kind of what it looks like for the Google IT certificate. But if you look at, let's go to say a Facebook, the Meta social media marketing. Social media marketing is performance advertising, content marketing, marketing content development. And these courses, talk a lot more about social media management, the fundamentals of social media advertising, and then how you advertise with Meta. So it really kind of depends on the job. But I guess what I'd say is, generally speaking, understanding how to use the tools to do the job, and then having the knowledge of kind of the context of the job, like what kinds of results are you responsible for? What kinds of people do you work with? What knowledge and skills do you need? Those are all part of it. And I just say generally, teamwork and communication skills are important for pretty much every job. And then data and analysis skills are pretty much important for every job, because almost all decision making nowadays, managers expect that you know how to use data to make the decisions that you make in your job role.
Very good. Yeah, I've just finished writing a new book on future skills, and I'm glad to say both of those are in there. So the
Yeah.
data literacy and the teamwork and collaboration skills.
Yeah. Yeah.
I believe that the UK government is also currently trialing Career Academy.
Yeah.
How are they doing that? What are they doing?
Well, so the government basically has an initiative to really help girls and young women in less advantaged countries figure out how to get better access, not just to education, but also to career opportunities. So the Prime Minister has started an initiative called the Girls Education Skills Partnership. And what we're working with them to do is to provide 10,000 scholarships to the Career Academy for young women in Nigeria and Bangladesh. So the basic idea here is, how can we take this set of 20 certificates? We might do a subset of the certificates, but the basic idea is, given that these are high-paying jobs that can be learned online, don't require a college degree, and more can be done remotely, how could we get more people access to this kind of job training in a really scalable, accessible way? And so that's kind of what we're working on, is trying to put these professional certificate opportunities through 10,000 scholarships to IBM, Google, Meta, Intuit, all the ones that I just mentioned, and put those in front of, make them accessible to young women in Nigeria and Bangladesh.
Wonderful. That sounds great. What would be your key recommendations then for any business that wants to develop the skills of their own employees?
Yeah, I would say that generally speaking, go with what's already out there. These certificates cost $1 to $2 million each to build. They are 50 to 75 hours of training. So, you name me a company who's going to spend that much money to build their own version of an IT support training program, or their own version of a cybersecurity analyst program. It just doesn't make sense for almost any company to be building their own version of all these. Now, what is kind of interesting, and what we're hearing more employers want to do, is to take the professional certificates, which are long, 4, 5, sometimes 8. In the case of IBM's full stack cloud developer certificates, it's 13 courses, and use those certificate programs out of the box from these other companies. And then complemented with those professional certificates are these short, hands-on guided projects. So I would suggest that if a company wants to build their own content, don't build the long training program, build the shorter, hands-on specific applications that says, okay, that's the general skills and knowledge to do a job in project management. At our company, this is the software tool that we use. These are the ways that we interact with our customers when we do projects, et cetera, et cetera. So it's possible to build shorter custom content that actually pairs up with this longer, higher quality, ready-made content. And that would be my basic approach, is try not to build all of it yourself. Try to get as much of it as you can off the shelf. And then if you want to, customize shorter pieces of it to contextualize it and make it more relevant to your own employees.
Very good. And what would be your recommendations for individuals, so anyone who wants to upskill or reskill and have a career in those in-demand jobs that we've talked about?
I often say that if you look at this Great Resignation and kind of what's happening, there's now a lot of research that's looking at, well, who's quitting? honestly, the people who are quitting their jobs are people in lower paying jobs that are on the front lines and generally has been not very pleasant to be in those jobs during the pandemic. And a lot of it is like, restaurants, care workers, retail, banks, things like that. Because customers have not been very nice and there's not a lot of flexibility, there's not a lot of pay. So a lot of people in those types of roles are saying, there's better jobs out there. And you know what? There are better jobs out there. And people are saying, I think I can get the skills for those jobs. And you know what? They can build the skills for those jobs. And so a lot of folks are saying, I know there's a better job out there. I just am not sure what those careers are. And I don't know how to get the skills to do that. And the reason that we built Career Academy, not only does it skill you for a certain job, it actually also helps you figure out, well, what jobs are available that pay better and offer more flexibility and can be landed without a lot of work experience or a college degree. Because a lot of people are like, well, I'd like to get that job, but I don't have a college degree. Or I'd like to get that job, but I'm in a totally different field. It's not every job, but there are many jobs, 20 of which are on our Career Academy right now. There are jobs out there that pay well, they're in high demand, and they don't require a college degree, and they don't require previous experiences, and you can learn the skills online and increasingly do the jobs remotely. So that's what I would recommend is go out there and look. There's great opportunities out there.
And how confident are you that we can actually give everyone, we can reskill our workforce for this new digital revolution really that we're experiencing at the moment? I sometimes walk down the street and think, is that really possible? People that are maybe lower skilled, do you, what percentage do you think can we actually transition into this new world of work, or can we get everyone up to speed with the digital skills they need?
Yeah, I don't think we can get everybody up to speed. I'd say a few things. First of all, you need internet connectivity. So not everybody has internet connectivity. Now on Coursera, you can all the courses are available on a mobile phone, tablet device, desktop device, etc. So you don't need a computer, but you do need some device with access to the internet. By the way, you also don't need continuous access to the internet. You can download these courses onto a mobile phone. You can do them offline. And then when you get back to a hotspot or when you get back to a connectivity, it'll sync them back up. But for people who don't have any internet connectivity at all and they have no devices, not even a mobile phone, that's going to be a challenge. We need connectivity and we need device availability. The second thing that people need are basic literacy, knowing how to read, knowing how to do mathematics, understanding basic levels of data, understanding how to use computers, like how to use a keyboard. These are also important fundamental skills that people have. Now, honestly, I think a lot of people have good soft skills, and we're humans. We all grew up as humans, and so we know how to communicate with people. Sometimes you need to learn a little bit more in terms of how to communicate in a work environment. But frankly, I think it is often the technical skills, the device, the connectivity availability that is the blocker. But subject to being able to read and write, and subject to understanding basic math and basic statistics, and having a device and connectivity, I think that we can reskill a massive number of people so long as they have the interest and the persistence. Cost will not be the issue. Cost will not be the issue. It's going to be, do I have the device, the basic capabilities, and the persistence to actually, work my brain to learn these skills and this knowledge.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you so much for your time, Jeff. That
Sure.
was really interesting as always. Anyone who wants to re-watch or re-listen, you can head to my YouTube channel or my podcast. Thank you very much.
Bernard, great to see you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Take care.